abusia for ni adofo ma munyina kwa ba hide Alpha OneTV cheda asemuti de bese sem koso ansane so bekoso ade all the latest updates at chese koso Ghana no ye de bebro ba kumponye de empower so benya akonya tie no wa hwede ekoso biye se so nsake bia no wa like ya share amoni aso nsake bi no so hu de ekwen so ready ye mfi ani nchim ne nka de won cheme ene na chese face the country for no Matesi Kroma omu demonstration Kesi pa enya asenketwa omu demonstration ye 3 days demonstration just ene na just omu chance omu to Sunday akwakuri no Monday 11:59 just ene nipa abo dompem ewo eye Akroma no enya asenketwa and yes still they are calling for people to come and join na adea wanwa esi wo ho ne se NPP flags NPP billboard Bawumia picture boboso no nkrofo no fru pose titi go from bubu billboard no go from omuwie no omanjayo abo ani nyina no de petrol guso apamanches asom ahini ashi eniema omatete ni nyina the sending strong signal ama NPP for say omunye coward bi mu sisi no ma bre omo opa be chini kotum omso omo nso hwe omo ye on live camera asa block kwan omo ma car bi anko car bi amba police want in control eni bre abehye pa ya chese me mam kasa nye bebre kamoni nkotini ahwede koso
No more illegal mining. No more illegal mining. No more
Thank you. How are you doing?
Tell us, for those who are watching us, what is the purpose of today's protest?
Well, we have been having a conversation about trying to confront the nation with the urgency of the environmental crisis we're facing, which is Galamsey. Now, it's a conversation that, as we know, within the past few weeks, several organized labor, several professional bodies have spoken up against and are demanding action on. We're in a critical election year. Our focus is to ensure that young people are represented in the conversation which concerns their future, that they become agents of a policy conversation that shifts the attention of electorates to the real issues that we are facing. our intention is the only way in which we can do that is to mobilize young people to feel a sense of ownership in this democracy. This is what this is about.
So specifically illegal mining.
Yes, irresponsible mining. Let's be clear that this dichotomy that people want to create between illegal and it is irresponsible mining. There's so many people who have gotten for themselves mosque or licenses for which reason they've given themselves a veneer of legality. We must move beyond that veneer and see the kind of practices people are engaged in. In fact, the Auditor General's report tells us that the EPA itself does not have what it takes to be able to protect our environment. That is serious. So why are we continuing to give licenses to people when we can't protect the environment at the same time? Yes. In the same breath, the Minerals Commission tells us that they were unaware of the Forestry Development Master Plan, which in fact says that from 2016, we should not grant any mining licenses in the forest reserves. And that we want to eradicate the practice of mining in forests in 2035. They say they are not aware of it. So there's a disconnect between the way in which we are raping the environment for what we claim in this search for gold. How many more documentaries does Joy News have to do to draw attention to this? There's a point where when the attention is brought to the issue, the young people mobilize to demand civil action. This is what we are doing, drawing the attention of a critical mass of Ghanaians to it.
And do you think this protest will change anything?
And it's a big question. What are we hoping to change? We are hoping that there's urgent action from those who we have elected to do so. Now, if we have spoken up, those who own our democracy stand up to demand this action, and we have grown a sense of pessimism about the capacity of those who have put it in place to lead that process not to do that. But what does it tell we as Ghanaians? So it is a bigger message for us to contemplate on about that when we speak up and demand this action, when all professional bodies are speaking, and we feel that it's not changing, what does it say about our democracy? So that's, for us, that's a question that we ought to answer. And what does it mean that we ought to do more? What should we do differently? That, I think, is the conversation we want to have.
Yesterday, in a statement released by the Police Director of Public Affairs, she said that the protesters intend causing chaos, in the capital. I'm sure you saw that statement as well. They said some of you want to use catapults and all of that. Is that true?
I mean, it's so strange that we live in a republic. How many years now that we claim to have moved from the years of the military era, that the entirety of policing, that the physiognomy of how your police institutions are set up, are still caught up in this regime protection mentality. What are we talking? When are we going to have a credible police force that is democratic and understands the value of citizen dissent? We have elected for ourselves people who have used the security forces rather than advance the ends of our democracy, rather to protect themselves and make these people stooges. Citizens want to speak. Since the country have consistently organized demonstrations here in this country, consistently they have obtained injunctions against us. The language has always been that we want to create violence, but none of our demonstrations have we engaged in any of that. So at which point that we continue to believe them, and even in terms of how we report what the police say, at some point we should tear it up and use them as toilet paper, because it is ludicrous, some of the things that are saying. And if we are strong in the protection of our constitution and democratic rights, sometimes we would even black out the police and will not cover them again, because they are no longer a credible voice in how we move our democracy forward.
So this is going to continue tomorrow and then on Monday?
Yes, we notified them in accordance with law that we are going to be doing this till Monday at 11:59 p.m. and we intend to continue to show up till then.
The intended place was the Revolution Square, and now clearly they've kept you at bay with these barricades and the personnel stationed there. You cannot move anywhere closer to the Revolution Square. Are you satisfied with where the team is right now? The protesters
one of the things which I find bizarre is our ability to normalize and accept our own oppression. The police released a statement close to midnight yesterday, locking down half of the city, claiming that it is for a special operation. Not that I have not seen anybody ask for them for clarification as to what that means. That coincidentally, there's a special operation that they are doing at the same time when we are doing our protest. But if we are interested in our democracy, we will do everything to ensure that actions that are taken, that are supposed to restrict our rights, that are supposed to disrupt the running of essential services across the country, the persons whose, like for instance, we've seen these ambulances go by, that these are people whose lives have been affected and impacted. We ask no question of them. The place we have chosen for ourselves was completely barricaded by walls. It's a walled environment that they can keep us there and we do not affect the city. But they don't do that. And yet we see this, they say we don't ask any questions of them. What kind of democracy are we asking for? And if we intend to give up on ourselves and on the values we claim to have for ourselves, perhaps we should let everybody else know so that we can all check out, so that everybody else can join into the raping of the country as we intend it to be.
Okay. Thank you for talking to us. You just heard Oliver Barker-Vormawor, one of the conveners for Democratic Hub, organizers of this protest. I mentioned to you earlier that they came prepared. He says they've come here with a de-escalation mindset. You disagree?
No, wait, Fix the Country. This is not the first time Fix the Country is having a protest. Okay.
So let's see what's happening right now.
No, I think he's trying to get in. There's no way.
So they're telling them no way. They're not going to allow them to use this road.
At least protesters are supposed to be protected. In as much as these people are also road users and they need to be protesters. There is a protest going on with a constitutional provision, and we are not flouting over nothing. All we are saying is that they need to also respect the people protesting, and these people are even supposed to be protecting as well. They are supposed to be protesting because this Galamsey menace is really not only affecting people in the villages where these waters have been destroyed. It is affecting each and every one of us. Each and every one. And what even hurt me the most is that if we that are living here think that this is not affecting us, then what happens to the people living in the village? Who fights for them? Who talks for them? There are individuals, and my pain is even with the women that live in these deplorable villages that has been affected. They don't have boreholes, they don't have pipe water there. Even now, the Ghana Water Company is coming out with the research that the amount of chemicals they are using in treating water for us in the city is even much that is not supposed to be, and it has even become hard for consumption. Yet people are consuming this. When you go and buy porridge, cocoa that is being sold out, what is being used for it? It is the same waters that are being contaminated. We live in Accra. We don't cultivate cassava in Accra. We don't cultivate any of the food we eat in Accra. It is coming from these same communities that have been doing this galamsey. And tell me if this is not sad. We are demanding that government will make a drastic decision. But the saddest part of it is this number of people here will never make the statement that will push any sensible leader to make a statement, or radical leader, sorry, not a sensible. A sensible leader would have listened a long time ago. But radical leadership need people, the consciousness of the people, how powerful the people will rise up to make a statement to him that this is the time we need to listen to these people. Machiavelli will never change from this. Seeing 16 people or 20 people here, never. It's never going to push him. Nana Addo has seen more than this. He has actually been one of the demonstrators that's organized one of the political demonstrations in Ghana that people pulled up, including people even dying. Tell me if this 16 people here is going to push Machiavelli to do something. But imagine if we have like more than 50,000 youth on the street today. They wouldn't do nothing. Nothing will happen. Nothing will change. And we call on Chamaun to be and the rest to continue doing their galamsey.
Let's move closer. Let's see what is going to happen there. We've seen that military track.
Bigger than the Ghana Constitution. True or not? The military is not bigger than the Ghana Constitution. The military is actually supposed to protect the country sovereignty, and the sovereignty lies in the hands of the people. True or not? So tell me if the people. No. Nobody throws nothing to the police, please. Don't throw those water to them. Don't throw nothing. Peacefully ask them to leave. That's it. That is the power of the people.
Ebisafo we life since I just air kwa just one kasa uhwebi ehun die ko bia just youth na ni abrie pa. We no political party be any NPP ni NDC ni we ye youth just omani abre e catch Akufo-Addo say enough is enough o ma bre no 8 years mu no just omu hu ade papa bia wa ya mo the youth and breaking the 8 no mo so mo pe no omu hu ade papa bia ba me person be man the youth omo dia ne scandals ahodo ye bete no allegedly Krono sikewia dream ene niema tantan ya chese wote krampa odwon a wonte ase eno nkwa na ye de ekoso auditor general report ba yin hu niema ewom Professor Frimpong Boateng edine galamsey hu report ba dia hodo a without fear of favor no ono na na da sa niema na no nkofo din a obobo nyina no eye Akufo-Addo se yemfa sa niema nyina yentungu abonten like hu hia enso so eniema Professor Frimpong Boateng beka no bokono na sa niema no behwe na ebi ye den 8 ankasa hwe nsuwa hodo ma se na bisisa abri eye ehiafo no omoto no esenso no omomo sika mo to sa machine na yakochi ohiani na ono no shin room ho no ni akwakochi no sikani na owo sika to machine omodi senso no na sikani ni eja no ho ni achi ohiani na sikani na akobo eye ohiani foforo pa so mba mbesa ade no saa na akwa ba besi sabri bebi a nipa no do ya nkasa no yenche no and you want people galamsey you want it to stop the bede jai videos ahodo ba a just NPP PC bo no advice galamsey as for say so jeni mpo eba say obeko etia sa ne mana obo aboni bi police ni ba obo aboni bi onu ni right so obe stop you say who say ni so no and nyema we nyina ya de ekoso na muwie a mosa the report about bontia be ka che say yinso ho odin so yesi nyema ekoso ese kamdo mo na for no monka na che say nyema say ya bisisa abia che say information be che say yinso die ye hwe de nyema ekodi a ba kra wonni sika untimi nyensu papa ennom no matter how chemicals it be gun so e wo Ghana no che say chemical no kra be sa be dan poison ono ma bu more because chemical wanting din chemical poison che say nyema e di treating so na bros wa adane poison ina so no so poison dada na bronu no nya sika ni wi a odi konu krom ye so pese konu krom woni bia o so na wa mba untimi mba no ma be sen Ghana ejan ha na politicians for munyeska ebimo even hospital Ghana krampo no mo mpesa mbeko bi na mo kwa abuchi kohwem ho yare mo kwa ebimu de mo busia foko na Ghana for say bo buyo nyina ho ka ano na be shi youth ni mo achese omotete eye NPP flags billboard ade also no bia mo bubu ni nyina to agu say shi bi kura so ka ho and they are saying they are not going to stop. But demonstrated 3 days. We na me hono or say it is just the beginning. Omo demonstration na the esi no chese o ma clear nkasa. As you see mpona mo bubu sani men na saa to Monday 11:59. Nya senketwa. Because so the update be free obebi ya bro men ko bebi ya like na share ma onya so ye the inside kebi. Obusia for 100% musia Akroma.